As you know, Diamond form is perfect for the hard carry that she can do. One of the best, if not the best, Vanguard right now in Rivals.
It has such a big vertical auto grab, by the way. Just want to pinpoint that. You have to be careful. You think you're safe unless you have one of your strategy ults allowing you to get that insurance policy just to help yourself stay alive. But then you have the Emma getting that grab if you're floating just too close to her.
Yeah, absolutely. I like the Storm ban too. I think you sure can flex over to Storm when needed. So we'll see if that's against that in general as we head into the flyover, the beautiful city of Wakanda. Vibranium at its core, ready to be potentially fought for here. And this just a good time on this Dom map as we see the teams lock in, ready to go. Fraud locking Punisher, you sure on Human Torch.
Let's get it started here, everyone. Map number 1, we're always going on to domination, where map number 2 will be a mix of either convoy or convergence here. So this is going to be that first map to really highlight how these teams are going to be able to work around each other. It's always usually that one explosive map, as I always say.
And here it is. We've got the triple res team coming for the Sentinels. They're known for it because the elite play of Korova and Rymazing flexing the Mantis. We've seen this in MRI, MRC. They're bringing it to them. They have 2 lives. You have to take them down twice. That's going to be a tough thing to do as Citadel.
Citadel have to keep that in mind too while they get set up first on the point, taking advantage of that Doctor Strange portal. Backing away though, Fraud trying to set up with that turret. It gets deleted, and Nectar gets that first pick onto Mace.
And Nectar been playing a great job there for that Star-Lord. Techie getting it on the Emma, getting rid of Monster. Great trades there as the opening is not what Citadel wanted to have. Crimson on Captain America. This is what Ignite is for, man. And this is why I'm here. The leader of the Avengers, Steve Rogers, doing it all day, ready to push forward and proving that point right now.
And that's with combined together with Techie being on this Emma. It's been entertaining thus far here, creating space. Crimson keeps up the pressure. Mace having to back away, gets deleted. This is the follow-up here between Crimson and Techie, as Crimson almost was able to get away, but that's before Yosher actually comes right back in.
Yeah, that's the thing. If you get rid of one of the Guardians, they're going to come right back. So you have to get rid of them twice. And you have to pass and pull down to deal with. I've got to see Crimson. They're nailing the animation chances with that shield, doing the quick melee, quick run hits. And that is insane at this level of play. We have Yusher now getting the trade. So this is massive to try to flip the script.
Oh, and that's with Fraud following up here too. Yusher though, he gets caught. Techie turns the tides of this fight with the psionic seduction as they drop down in the pit, leads Mace to his demise. And Citadel Gaming, they felt like they had some sort of progress before the turnaround from Techie, and Sentinels are able to keep their feet planted on this point.
They say looks kill. I mean, in this case, looks eliminate here with Emma Frost. Techie can do it all because you've got not only just the primary beam that got buffed this patch, but just grabbing the flyers from the sky with the quick melee punch and kick that we just saw Techie do on Yusher.
I gotta deal with the Diamond form, the Carbon Crusher. Crystal Kick can't fly anywhere out here in the no-fly zone, but Citadel Gaming do have a plethora of ultimates to work with.
Absolutely, you're just being relentless. Crimson here on the full aggression is something that I've not seen yet from him, and I'm loving the flexibility they've shown. I've seen this team play a lot of the same hero pool, and this is so cool to see them bring out something unique here. A lot of Sentinel fans out there, and I know they're just gassed to watch this team go crazy right now.
Especially with this Emma Frost here too. Turns around, follows up here with Crimson, who manages to back away to the lovely hands of his strategist. And what a dominating first message sent from Sentinels to Citadel.
I mean, that's as clean as you get there. And that's where it just gets tough having Emma available right out the rip. It is a tough thing to do. Techie played great there up, yesterday. They chose to get rid of that. Now looking into even this next point, though, not only is the ultimates about the same, but on top of that, you have the double res to worry about. Looking at the stats, though, all together, team all around doing a great job.
Sneaking all the way down here. The way that Sentinels have just been putting on so much of that pressure, but I really do feel like it was that Emma Frost who was dictating a lot of the way that Sentinels were able to play around not only the space, but the aggression that brought in.
Yeah, and just look at, that's what happens when you have triple support. It's just so much continuous support healing happening for the team. They're going to look to get together here, see if they can reset, and they've got some ultimates to do so. Maybe they go with the invisible boundary into the final judgment to charge up. They could go with the little supernova, but in response, they've got to deal with not only a res, the Avengers Assemble, and you've got the legendary at the hands of Sentinels.
Oh, here it goes as it gets started with the supernova, though, right to answer as Fraud is the first one to get out. It is Crimson leading the pack for Sentinels. Yes, bro. All Mori going down first here is going to actually allow Citadel Gaming to have the advantage. Thank you to the Res Comp to allow Sentinels to come right back in. Techie gets a little bit of that health here too, as Nectar deletes the rest of Sentinel Gaming right here on the other side. The front side here, isolating Valentina.
Yeah, the whole thing before you even get into the point, you had the fire tornadoes happening with the invisible boundary, but in response, all you need is the res. And we got just that from Korova, one of the best atoms in the game. Beautifully done there, and they didn't have to use all that much. They still have that internal bond ready to rip. It's looking pretty deadly here for Sentinels, and Citadel Gaming's going to have to reset. Take a deep breath. You guys can do this. Just got to believe.
Velocity, having that Loki ult ready to go. Big moves here for Citadel as they have some ult economy to work with before dropping down Mori too. Also being able to have that eternal bond to keep Sentinel here as we see the God of Mischief activated.
Look at this back, trying to go for not just the strategist, but no Fraud himself taking care of the key DPS. Now Crimso wants both duelists. You sure looks to go down by Crimso. He wants more, make it 3, that's all. And that could be a hard thing to come back from when you've got Steve Rogers going this crazy in the hands of Crimso.
Fraud needs some help. Nectar's got his head. He's got the count right now, and Fraud hasn't really even been able to show face once as we take a look at the stats just real quick and the damage output that we're currently seeing right now from Nectar.
And we're Kandian Soldier gazing down upon as we gaze on Mace, trying to get the pressure going. But Techie with the ultimate that not only has the people go forward, but shuts down the ult as well. No combination. So with that, that's beautiful for Citadel, and they're going to respond in their own with Mace. And here comes the final judgment. Can they connect? They have everything set up. They've got to deliver.
It's the map here too. You can float around over to the side here, just so that way you have more opportunities to reposition. That's actually exactly what we saw from Techie as Crimson, he pops the Captain America ult here too. Nectar goes down here first, but could probably get res right immediately afterwards. And Korova also activates the Adam Warlock ultimate. Here comes a supernova from Yosher, and now Citadel Gaming have to keep themselves alive with Velocity about to have that Loki ult ready.
It's a cat with 9 lives, Red. Nick could come back not 1, not 2, 3 times with the res as well. And you're right, the Fraud just tailing his inner AC 130. Flying above with the ult is absolute chaos there as Yusher trying to get the pick, but that's what makes Korova so crazy on the Golden God himself.
S Adam Warlock player for a reason. Yusher didn't have a chance in that moment here. Invisible Boundary still buys in some time for Citadel Gaming as they were the ones that were able to retake the point for now.
Yo, we don't, it's, you know, people kind of forgot about this triple res comp. And Techie here trying to get something going, trying to get the team to finish the deal. Overtime hitting, clobbering timeout with the block. We got Monster pushing through, but here Mori sealing the deal.
And that was with Techie and a huge block. Techie going crazy here while they were able to flip that point in their favor and take map number 1.
I mean, there's just so, I was just beginning to say, there's so many things to worry about in this game of picks and bans, and often forgotten, especially after Season 0, Season 1, is that triple res comp, and no team plays it better because the flexibility, most importantly, Vicky, the practice that Amazing has had on Mantis, and then we've seen that with Korova and Adam.
I definitely agree. You play into your...
Just for the bubbles, most likely on Jeff, and then swap.
Okay, yeah, just to be able to get that boost forward here. Maybe see what we're going to have differently. Now looking at Crimson even hovering over the Groot.
Yeah, you know, I thought Crimson might go Groot here instead of Cap because you've got those combo ults with Human Torch that you could do easily into the Supernova. Very tough play here. And then you've got Ultra to deal with. This is a great flyer map as well. So they've got their work cut out for them if they want to try to make this thing a 1-1. Citadel Gaming going to have to go crazy. Yusher is their hit scan. He's going to have to rise up and step up to it.
Let's see here now as we get started on one of my own personal favorite maps. Love Hydrostro and Path. Gonna see how this is gonna work out here. Being that convoy map here too for Citadel Gaming to really lean into after noticing what they have to really counter. They already got a step ahead in that ban phase, as you mentioned too, Cozy. You know, in that first map, already feeling like that ban phase was detrimental to the win condition for Citadel. Look at
Got the rainbow up on the double wall. Love to see it as we head in. We've got Sentinels on defense and Citadel on offense. Now we've got the nice poke damage here from Mariah Mason getting that ult charge going so quickly here. And right away, Mace with the portal up top with the turret behind.
All right, Amazing taking note of that, though. It's just going to get out of the line of sight of that turret here. Going to be able to keep on the pressure from the skies. The rest of Citadel Gaming just slowly walking that convoy up.
Yeah, giving them a little bit of space here. Going to use these structures as some protection for the Flyers. And you've got the 1-2 punch there with Nectar and Ryan Mason. We see this in the standard ladder. It's the domination of the Flyers. Yusher again. He's going to have some heavy lifting on Frank Castle. Make all these hits, all these notes hit for the perfect symphony here. As we've got now getting old charge like crazy. Nectar and Pecky getting themselves 3 picks to get things started. Oh my goodness.
Nectar with the damage output is just getting away with it. There you go again, just seeing the issue that the Torch provides here at top level play.
No, absolutely. I mean, Torch has done so much, and it's crazy that I have 2 different players that can flex in and out of it. You know, we saw what Ramazing did yesterday. Hector saying, hey, I'm very comfortable on Johnny Storm. Let me add him with the Fantastic Four, and Crimzo showing off his Yggdrasil skin on Yggdrasil's path. Love to see it.
It's one of my favorite skins. It looks so great here, too. Crimzo in the early game just aura farming here, but stops the Cloak and Dagger. Eternal Bond with that wall before getting right around it here. Here comes the Brute ult, too, to match that. Fraud with the sneaky KO onto Techie. Here comes the Ultron ult coming in from Amazing here too. Backing away even through that prison. You are able to use that Eternal Bond just to keep the rest of the team alive here. As Aramori is also going to be able to get the copy onto the Ultron.
Yeah, going from that Loki copy, but right now it is all fraud, showing that Citadel Gaming in the upper bracket is not a fraud as he goes with the Kraken Impact, making it an easy up in .1 here as we've got a portal, though. Gonna get everybody involved here as a pseudo wall, but right now we've got them trying to push them back with fraud, showing what the Winter Soldier has as they head into .2. Beautiful play here and a great comeback of momentum.
And now Crimzo also has the bad respawn, too, because they got that pick right through that Doctor Strange portal, so now Crimzo is a little behind here. They don't want to find themselves staggered as they can try to hold back Citadel over by that next corner.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. And pushing up right away. You love to see it. Only 1 on the point. Now 2. They've got Mace here pushing up, getting that aggro that Emma does so well. Such a tough hero to contest up in the close. But there it is. We've got Supernova, but Yusher to counter. What ultimate is going to take that one? It's a battle of the insane flames. And right now, great just dodging and weaving there as the Flyers stay alive. And both, no eliminations happening yet.
Nectar knows exactly how far behind, what pixel he could poke his head out there just to avoid getting melted by Yusher's ult here too. With the Psionic Seduction, just try to pull them in. Techie has other plans though, being in that diamond form, unaffected here, kept together with the Eternal Bond too, as Velocity follows up to find the backline out from Sentinels. Citadel Gaming with the momentum that they needed.
Holy Velocity! I mean, my gosh, the beautiful imprisonment into the Terror Cape and then damage. The whole team turned their attention, unloaded, and this has been an easy 1 and 2 on the first couple of points, and all it took was no triple res comp. Give it up to Citadel for changing up the strat.
Actually, Ginormous with how Sentinels have just not been able to plant their feet for any of these team fights at Citadel. Just keeps throwing at them. Look at the positioning that constantly Mace and Monster are taking.
Yeah, honestly, just great job here. Airmore and Techie do have plenty to respond here, but the Kraken Impact is going to go alongside this internal bond. They have plenty of room to push. 4 minutes on the clock is a lifetime on this map. Supernova to get a little bit of pseudo-tank pressure of space pushed away. We do have the ult to get them all. Look at, they got the 4 of them together, but Velocity pushing forward, stuck on the payload, unfortunately, and that's going to allow just a lesser path for Kraken Impact, but he right now is eliminated, and right now they're going to have to reset.
At least Velocity in that fight did get God of Mischief online here too for Citadel, which is going to be big looking at the way that Crimzo also has that ult. He activates it right here too. Sentinels also on the other side staying alive as Techie wipes out Yusher, wipes out Maze, gets a quick 3 and a follow-up from Techie here, and now Sentinels finally get that reset here that they needed just to hold back Citadel Gaming and keep up the pressure.
Yeah, I like the Punisher swap here from Ultron, just, you know, up close in that cave. You're going to put the pressure forward, and Aramore having to use that ult as it's copied, getting a little bit of pressure, but obviously just going to reset. Unfortunately, on the timing, they only needed Crimso's Groot ult, but they didn't use a lot to get that hold, and right now, all the ultimates are for Citadel. Can they use it to their advantage here?
Now only having Kurovalo with that Eternal Bond, looking at Sentinel's side just to keep them alive here as we see the judgment coming out from Amazing. Sentinels dancing around, Monster just trying to stay alive in his own Eternal Bond. Amazing now on the other side, looking at Valentina coming in with Yusher, just holding them back. They saw that Kurovalo already utilize that ultimate, and Sentinels have no answer to this.
We said this was going to be on the back of Usher if they can pull it off, and right now he's doing just that. Nectar trying to get some spacing with the Supernova, get that crude off that high ground. I'm going to be Obi-Wan for now, and it looks like there's still plenty in the tank, though. Here's Citadel here. We'll see if they get the Imma ult to try to give themselves even more pressure.
My eyes are on Crimzo, though, right now with that strangling prison and the answers that Citadel Gaming have at the moment with Velocity, looking to see how that impact comes out. Could help their team with the psionic seduction. First comes out from Maze. It's to match that from Techie, and we get to see that Loki ult this time around from Aramori.
Absolutely here as Mace is putting on the damage here, but we've got Crimson with the ultimate. They're looking for the combo, but luckily we do have protection happening, but no, too little too late as Crimson and Korova get the two-piece they were looking for, and unfortunately, even with the ultimate here, it may not be enough, but we have a minute and 45 seconds, and Fraud does have the Kraken impact, comes in with the one, Vicky, gonna get two.
Fraud, man, the impact right now from Fraud, but the way that he can just reset the stall too, again and again he goes, but the eternal bonds are keeping both sides alive between Valentina and Korova.
Now, popping it a little early, I wanted to wait for Monster there in the ultimate, but they do have Usher now to combine that Final Judgment. Oh, but Monster goes early, and when you do have the Final Judgment, let's see if they can make it happen, but there's no follow-up. Monster, though, it looks like that was a tragic play of the Entangled. Unfortunately, they're going to have to back up and reset yet again.
That was big help, too, from Crimzo, though, just to negate any sort of pressure that could have come from that strangling prison, because you had Rymazing that had that judgment and then was uplifted by Crimzo's Brute Wall.
Yeah, absolutely here. Now, Velocity does have the ult online. They can get some pressure. They do have that Final Judgment ready to go, and Monster's charging up fast. Fraud will get one more Kraken impact to see if he can make that impact. And Nectar, though, gonna have plenty of pressure. Those Supernova Tornadoes, Vicky, right in here. I mean, that's the worst combination I could think of, man. Tornadoes in a game, it's over.
Yeah, talk about all the pressure and just such a little space here, too. About to see the Loki ult from Velocity this time around. Talk about the strangling prison, the eternal bond on top of it as well. But Usher comes in with the judgment, finds 3 in the process, together hand in hand with Fraud. Citadel finally get this moving.
Locked and loaded. The Rocket team up's not even in the game anymore. Triple C is gone, yet you have Punisher. You've got the old callback to Bucky Barr, who's going crazy. Turn mode set up. This is theirs to get. They're going to try one more push. They're going to have to bring it all. Good cap switch, though, to try to get a little bit of pressure on Crimzo. You've got the ultimate now with Aramori. This is going to be the fireworks, the Michael Spade base special that you come for.
Only explosions and fireworks. A psionic seduction comes in from Techie, forcing Citadel Gaming to come into their line of sight. They have Rymazing ready to go, though, with the judgment too, and Citadel don't have much of an answer. Minus Mates with their own psionic seduction just to counter that.
Great answer there, but that's all they have. Unless Velocity can get the charge up, it is getting it fast, but we have Fraud putting the game into his hands here with the Kraken, and he does make that impact and get the 3rd checkpoint. Huge.
Fraud, the opposite of his name right there, by the way. MVP of that last corner to get that convoy to the finish line too.
Yeah, Fraud went crazy. We saw him play Punisher yesterday, but today making that swap over to Bucky is what you want to see. Listen, Bucky, yes, he had some nerves happen, but he's still such an insane hero to snowball, and that's exactly what... That looks like a completely different team than what we just saw on Domination.
I think it's also a statement to say that you need both Punisher and Bucky to deal with the harassment that was coming in from the skies. Let's not forget, at the very beginning, we had seen the Ultron, I believe, there too, as well as the Torch. So, you know, forcing out some swaps, nonetheless, quick adjustments, no surprise there from Sentinels, but it took everything, with Fraud finding a lot of impact too on that Bucky by the end, even after those swaps.
Yeah, it's a big call to be risen up to, right? When you've got Ultron, you've got Human Torch just raining down. Usher did great pressure there. I like the response here from Sentinels. Rymazing going to what he did great yesterday in Human Torch. Nectar was going nuts on Wolverine yesterday, and so glad to see that. That's going to do a good counter to Monster. On the other end, you don't have that Wolverine, but really Fraud is just going crazy with all those Loki clones, and if you noticed, they really took that. They don't have Loki. They're getting rid of that. They don't want to give any more ammunition to what is already a deadly Fraud.
Big impact out here looking at Citadel Gaming. Valentina, also the way that they were able to cycle through those strategist ults was on another level. But coming out of the gate, Sentinel, Mori being on that Loki, of course. Techie controlling a good amount of space, but it's the pressure from the skies for Amazing that continues.
I don't know about you two. When I'm playing and we get a 3-tap, I feel so much less pressure right now. You know, on the offense and the defense, it just feels so much better. You know, you did the best you could on that last map. Nectar here trying to get a little bit of a flank there, probably on Monster. Can he go in? Can we get the kidnap? He goes, and unfortunately comes up empty, but gets a slicing and dicing, charging up that rage, seeing what he can do. He's got Loki clones and to do so here. Airboy, by the way, going back to Loki. Look out for that.
With Crimzo getting picked off first here, too. Big time spent as Citadel get to plant their feet back on this defense.
Not only that, they got 75% going for Fraud. You got 92 over there for Velocity. They're going to be ready to go. And on the inside, really on Kurova close. Maybe Ray-Mazing a bit for Supernova. More of that space-making goal. And Techie just farming up that primary. You love to see it at 100% going crazy.
Fraud's about to get that ult, but he gets kidnapped first. He doesn't even find his way down because Crimzo finds him first. Even with the eternal bond on both sides here, too, between Valentina and Kurova, we're always seeing the Cloak and Dagger match for match. More like Choke and Drag her as a group ult comes in. Ray-Mazing gets that pick here too, and we get to see the survivability from both Aramori and Velocity.
And channeling the inner Peter Pan, you can fly, just taking up and getting rid of Groot. The own ult was incredible, and now just look at that from the sky as well. Peter Pan's going on. Victor on Wolverine taking out, and what Ray-Mazing that swap Human Torch was huge for them.
I mean, after that, I don't want to grow up for real. Maybe you want to just hold back here. No Peter Pan, please. As we get to see the Doctor Strange portal get put up here from Citadel just to contest here and stop them on that first point.
Yeah, they've got a couple things that they can use here, but I would probably stay on to those duelist ultimates. You're going to have a lot of pressure forcing out Sentinels ultimates. See if you can win in the neutral here. Nectar and Ray-Mazing taking care of business. You're going to have that full reset happen, and it's a long walk back here from the back of the near cave. And so we'll see what they can do here on this first bend around, but great job from both teams. If I'm Citadel, you're still feeling pretty confident. 4 minutes on the clock.
Oh, no, but you don't want to find yourself staggered here. You literally looked. You thought you had enough time just to look around the corner, and guess who's waiting for you? You have to deal with Crimzo's wall. You have to deal with the damage output from Ray-Mazing, and then a Techie also right there just to get the choke.
Yeah, and if you look, Citadel doesn't have any support ult, so this is going to be a tough battle to win. This is going to come down Yusher, Frog, and they keep doing what they're doing, right? They're playing very passive at the moment. They need to just let off, wait for the team to recalculate, but that just allows Ray-Mazing to feed damage. Look at that ult just tick up, up, as he's able to get that poke damage. That's why we see 50k from the King all the time at the end of the match here. Frog now getting that pressure on, and they're going to open up with the Emma ult.
And the Vanguards here from Citadel Gaming have just found themselves staggering one by one. It was first Mace, now we see Monster, and Techie had used up that Psionic Seduction just to get even more pressure in, looking at what Sentinels has to provide. They have 4 ultimates ready, make it 3 now with Crimzo activating that prison.
Yeah, that was a huge Groot ultimate there, but Fraud taking down Nectar is a huge vehicle. We're going to see if he gets that Kraken impact going out right away. Velocity with the quick support ult to keep everybody up, and now Yusher trying to get the final judgment out, but goes down to Ray-Mazing. A huge pick on this last part of the point.
Ray-Mazing just keeps getting away with it. Another Supernova pick after pick. It's all Ray-Mazing staying planted here as Kurova follows up with the 3K. Beautiful teamwork as we see Sentinels dominate this second checkpoint.
We just saw that from Cloak on when they were on the defense, the Cloak getting that exact point, and now the script is on Kurova going crazy with the terror kit, but really Yusher could have gone crazy on final judgment, but Ray-Mazing took care of him.
Ray-Mazing is just an uncontested problem right now. All eyes on Ray-Mazing as Yusher trying to see if they can try to find the isolation. Monster, by the way, going over to the thing.
Yeah, this is everything you want right now if you're Sentinels. You're playing flawlessly. You've got an insane Groot ult getting everybody together. The 1, the 2, they make it 3. The pressure on them. This is going to be very tough for them to come back. Citadel is going to regroup this 4 down. The pressure is all the way up.
Stop. They're already dead. The way that they came in together like this off the strangling prison. Nectar getting the finishing blow with help with Techie. It's literally an all-star brawl battle. You think we're playing a fighting game with the way that Techie has just been strangling in this diamond form.
Absolutely, here as they push him, we stall. Sentinels do a good job trying to stall the point from that spawn. It's so hard to do, though. Can they do it? They've got the ults to get it done. Velocity's got to try to get that team some survivability. Monster's got the setup too. Then they combine these to make the difference. Silent, though, choked and done by Crypto and Emma.
Velocity, though, coming in on that Loki ult in the form of the internal bond now, but Yusher gets Amazing finally out of the sky tier. Sentinels trying to keep themselves alive after Aramori had also used that Loki ult too to help the rest of Sentinels, and Citadel Gaming now forced their way back onto this point.
I still have 2 minutes on the clock, but I gotta say, great job there from Citadel, able to just collect, breathe, not use a lot of resources to capture that point, even though they could have used them all. Right, it's do or die in that situation. And here comes Crimso and the disrespect of the Supernova Tornado, and it's gonna look like another 5-6 team wipe ace.
It's not clobbering time. If anything, it is just Amazing walking together with Sentinels with a complete team wipe onto Citadel.
Got 2 minutes on the clock now. Someone just trying to get to the point. Someone's going to get that Captain America a little too late. Wow. 2 minutes left. Citadel, they got the 3, but Sentinels did it better.
Literally, look at that time bank. 3 minutes and 6 seconds right now in favor for Sentinel. Even with the way that they were able to make those adjustments, Cozy, man, it's Citadel just didn't have the answers to the wombo combo that we saw between the Supernova and, of course, the Strangling Prison together.
Yeah, Citadel, they mentioned how much this would mean to them if they could pull off this win, and they've got to channel everything together right here, right now, because this is a long hold. You can do it. Again, point to the sign, say believe, channel your inner Ted Lasso as we've got the matchup ready to go. Can Sentinels go on and move into the upper bracket even further?
Taking a look at the damage output already. Look at Amazing, nearly at 40k, by the way, together with Nectar with 32k, and then big differential looking on the other side. Mace trying their best, putting in a lot of that damage blocked at least, but it's just so far Techie, who's been clearing so much space alongside the Crimzo. That Groot and Emma Frost's combo is just insane.
Yeah, call him the 40k king at this point. I've got to point out, though, Citadel Gaming, they've had incredible strategist play. Valentina, Velocity, they're playing lights out. It's just coming together as a team. We hear this from teams all the time. Great individual players, but you got to play as one unit. Both these teams have been together a ton, have a lot of experience, all in the same belt. Here we go, as we've got Citadel on offense first. They've got a minute to do something.
Running something similar here. Amazing still in the skies as well. Fraud, though, coming out of the spawn room doors on that Iron Man. As Techie keeps being the problem that Techie is, boosting up that damage, too, with that beam.
Yeah, I mean, Emma for us, Becky just showing why she's banned all the time. Just crazy output. You've got to respect the diamond form, the instant eliminations. Fraud, though, doing a nice job here with the drive beam, getting that space on those, not only Groot Walls, but also Vanguards. Is going yet again. Fraud doing a great job here. Like the switch up into the Flyers as Yusher playing Ultron. We saw that yesterday. But Zeki is going to trade with Mace, and that's a brutal blow with 15 seconds left.
And that's with the Ultra Power here, too. Look at the damage output that we're currently seeing right now, even through the Groot Wall. Here comes Aramori with the copy onto the Cloak and Dagger with the Eternal Bond. Strangling Prison, keeping everyone together. Nectar in the form of my Sleep Paralysis Demon, the nightmare I don't want to have to deal with here as they try to back away. Citadel Gaming overtime activated, and Fraud gets that pick up to Korova.
Somehow getting out of that point, but oh my gosh, from the skies, Nectar raining down and taking out Iron Man. Tony Stark says, Jarvis, help for the love of God, as Logan takes him down. Velocity, though, trying to keep the team up. They're doing a great job here on this push. Pushing back, Nectar, though, gets Mace. That would be a huge pick here on this final point.
There's no way that worked. The stagger was huge right there. Between the Groot Wall, the follow-up after the kidnap onto Mace. Mace makes a quick swap over to the Doctor Strange portal, then right back onto the point as overtime taking away, and the Strangling Prison to deal with.
Yeah, great job here. We have now Valentina activating the ult. We've got Extermination going, but Emma up close, bringing the Ultron down. You should just try to survive at this point. They're doing great, trying to keep everyone alive. There's the portal, trying to keep this fight extended. Techie, though, just going off, and there's the Berserker Rage. There goes the tanks. There goes 3, now 4. And this is going to be that final bit. And honestly, a pretty good push with what they had available. There was only 2 seconds left, Vicky, and they got that far.
Those adamantium claws coming out of Nectar, man, he just crushed their dreams, stabbed it right through the heart with the way that they just came out of that portal like a shish kebab to meet that rage at the very end of it.
Honestly, I respect Crimson with the ult at the point, keeping them all tied together, and good job touching to keep the thing rolling. Fraud with a good pick. But listen, you know, 3 minutes, this would be a hold of a lifetime. They're going to have to lock in. Looks like they're staying with the fly comp.
Okay. way that CTG just really tried to change things up right there too. It was desperate looking at the limited time back they had, but it's going to be even harder. You have to look at Sentinels. They have over 3 minutes to work with versus Citadel Gaming, who had less than a minute.
Yeah, definitely going to be tough. Hey, listen, I've seen it happen before in my own ladder games. It can happen. Look at the damage, though. Crazy chaos. 20 final hits, 47 making a 50 burger here. The whole car wash on Yggdrasil's path. And Nectar, I cannot tell you. We have not seen them all, but some of this man's kidnaps have been insane.
It's actually terrifying. Just looking at it, you just get secondhand scared. Just watching, you're like, hopefully that isn't me in another life, because you do not want to be on the other side of those claws. Always very fun to watch Wolverine pop off, as we have seen thus far within the Americas. And let's get started now with Sentinels keeping that in mind, and Nectar being able to pop off, just getting a little bit of that speed boost off the bubble from the Jeff.
And there we go. We're going to look at, really, all you have to do in these situations is just have coordinated ultimates and wipe them out, right? Crimso being the Groot that he is, he can do just that. And Monster's going to have to try to play that defense. Groot acts and tree on tree, as I like to say. And Fraud here from the skies, right? Amazing. Going to keep up the pressure that he's had before, looking like it so far.
Which tree stands taller, though? That's the question. Look at Nectar. He's creeping about. Oh, they did call him out. They know he's creeping. They hear him. But it's about finding the opportunity. As sneaking Nectar looks to take a flanking angle.
Yeah, good eyes there on the Wolf. If Nectar's able to get that kidnap, that's going to be all she wrote. So they're going to have to keep one eye there, but you got 5 in front here as the structure comes back. There's the kidnap. There's the slice. There's the slice. And just trying to live it. Valentina and getting out of that horror movie, the slasher film that is Nectar.
You know, Valentina clinched real quick when you got that double jump on the Invisible, but you still managed to get away, but then you lost out on Fraud, feeling out the pressure. Techie, you're going to get that, and now you have the kidnap on top of it all. No Groot for your fight, because you got to deal with a swiping Nectar, harassing your Groot, kidnapping him and isolating him.
Yeah, going down with the ult is tough there for Fraud. And on top of that, he's going to change to the Strange to try to give his team the comeback. So it's the double whammy, losing that. Now, Right Mason trying to pick off the rest that is there. Here comes the portal. Techie, though, takes out Mace. Mace can make the portal if he responds fast enough here, but everything is going for Sentinels. They have all the ults in the bank. This is it for them to improve and shut down Citadel into the lower bracket.
And then you have to worry about Nectar being at 100 rage on top of it. You got the Doctor Strange portal from Fraud Citadel Gaming trying everything to keep themselves in this fight. But between the Supernova, you have to worry with even more damage output from Amazing. The follow-up as Sentinels walk the dog for free.
And there it is, just like that. The point gap. Citadel definitely played a lot better on this map, but unfortunately, Sentinels, they did that much more. And guys, just wait till you see these stats. If you're watching and you enjoy some crazy statistics, some crazy damage, and even more so healing, just wait. Vicky, we could have had potentially 100k heal burger happen here. We'll see in just a moment as Amazing captures the MVP.
I'm not surprised with the amount of damage output that we highlighted from both sides here too, but Amazing specifically being the problem that Amazing was just on another level. And then you have to add Nectar as a sprinkle on top to the Sunday. Taking a look at the overall stats, though, you were pretty darn close to it.
Dude, 75,000, 71,000 healing